That's gonna be a hassle to get on the baker's rack because I don't feel like dealing with it. That's what you're gonna end up with. I got oil everywhere. What was I talking about? Hello, welcome to Yellow Dirt Urban Homestead. I am Asia and I'm an urban gardener growing in a small space out in my backyard. But today we're inside because all of the herbs that we harvested in the last video, we need to preserve. All of the greens that we harvested in the last video, we need to preserve. So I'm gonna start with the easy part first, which is hanging my herbs. This is parsley, and that's mostly what we have on the table is parsley, but we also have some rosemary. So we're gonna start by hanging them, and I simply use the same string that I use to trellis, and I cut a piece like this, and I just double mine because it's simpler. And then I take it and I tie it around, something like that, to give it like a slip knot type situation. So make sure it's tight. And then I come back around, tie that again. And so now you have a tight knot, and that's how we're gonna tie it. And then I have a baker's rack, and I take it, I'm gonna take these off for now, but I just take it and tie this to the baker's rack. And then I will leave these here to dry, and I could just cut this off. But nothing too serious. That's literally all I do to dry my herbs. I have a baker's rack in the corner, and that's where I put it. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish tying them up. So once they are dry, I will put them in a glass jar with a top, and it doesn't have to be a canning jar. It doesn't have to be a ball jar. Just needs to be a jar that has a top on it, in my experience. If you've experienced different, then continue to use that. In my experience, I've been able to save them in any kind of glass jar that I have. Because I have so much parsley, I'm also gonna put some of it in Mylar bags. Mylar bags helps your food stay fresher longer. And so I have Mylar bags, see, just like that. I cut that one too short, so that's gonna be a hassle to get on the baker's rack. But Mylar bags help your food to stay fresher longer. And so I do like to use those too. So like with all of the calendula I got this year, I didn't keep it all out. Some of it is in Mylar bags, and I sealed it. But you can put it in Mylar bags and not seal it as well. I sealed it because I already had a lot of calendula oil, and I also had calendula flowers in jars. So I just decided to put it in Mylar bags. It's like 5 years. It'll keep your food fresher for like 5 years. So I like to use Mylar bags for things that I know I'm not going to use, and then I seal it. Well, that I'm not gonna use anytime soon, and then I just seal it. And you can like hang your herbs from wherever you have a spot to hang them. Mine is the baker's rack, but I've seen people hang them from like strings attached to the wall. I've seen them hung from ceilings, you know, wherever you can hang it from, wherever you feel comfortable having your herbs hung. Now, one of the things that's pretty important is to remember to put them away, because I think it's Rosemary Gladstar. She says, if you are going to let them dry and then let them like just collect dust, it's no point. You might as well just put them in the dehydrator. And so I do try to remember, sometimes I don't, to grab them as soon as they dry. And with parsley, I don't take them off the stem because all of it is edible and it's not woody. And you can still just, you know, grind it up. Somebody did ask me about my grinder. Do I use my coffee grinder for my herbs? Yes, I have now. When I was doing that, I was only using it for herbs. And recently, I have started doing my own coffee grinds. Well, not recently. It's been a while, but I actually haven't ground any herbs in the last year, I don't think. Last year, my garden just was not good, so I didn't even have herbs to grind up. But yes, I use a Krups Vortex. I'll link it if I can find it. It worked really well for my herbs. It worked really well for my peppers. It's a really good grinder. I'll probably get another one for my herbs now, just because I'm heavy on the grinding coffee beans at this point, and I don't want that flavor to get mixed in with my herbs. And so parsley is not honestly a herb that I use a lot of. It's mostly as like a garnish, but there are recipes that call for parsley. And so when I have those recipes, I can go and open a Mylar bag, because the Mylar bags also come in different sizes. And so with that being said, you can put like a small amount in small bags and just have several bags if you have the space for it. And then that way you're not opening up the bag, but the bags are also resealable. So if you have to open them and you don't need everything that's in them, you could just reseal them. That's an option too. Puppy is running around the night harassing people. She keep wanting to go outside, but then she want to come right back inside. She is the pits tonight. She's being the pits. Hey girl, she down here now. My daughter just let her in the house. How do you preserve your parsley? Do you use it? Because you can use the dehydrator too. I just prefer to do it this way. Just curious to know. This is my way. And I honestly think it's really cool that when they're like just hanging. I think it's cute. That's odd, but I do. I think it's cute when they're just hanging. So we got everything tied up now. And now we're gonna put it over here on the baker's rack. And the good thing with the baker's rack is you have several places you can tie it on. One year I just noticed it and I was like, oh, I can hang my herbs from here. And that's what I have been doing. And I'll set my basket with my onions in it back up here too once I'm finished. And you want to put a little bit of space in between them just so you can have some airflow. Don't end up with any mold. Since this is a pretty large bunch, I'm gonna put it down here at this end so it can do its thing. But we got a bunch of them. I should have asked my mom if she maybe wanted some, but I think she uses it more as a garnishment, as a garnish too. And you can also lay these flat. I forgot to say that. You don't have to hang them. You can lay them flat to avoid mold. They should be in one layer. You can also lay them to dry. I have also done that. Got one more bunch to go and it's a pretty large one. So we're gonna hang this closer to the back. These are my peppers. I still need to grind them, but like I said, wanna buy another grinder for my pepper powder. All right, so there you have it. That's how I hang my herbs, y'all. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do are our chives. I have these little silicone things. You can put them into the freezer. And this is how I do my chives. I use a little bit of olive oil or butter, whichever one I choose to use. Tonight, trying to get this done really fast, but I can melt butter and also do it this way. But I just put some oil in here, or you can put the chives in first, however you want to do it. Like I said, I'm trying to get this done quick. So these are all the chives we have. And I do go through and look for like the little crinkly ones and I take them out. Basically the pieces that were dying and I take them out, and anything that looks like a little miscolored. Remember, we harvested these on Wednesday. That was yesterday. So today is Thursday. They've been sitting on the counter. So some of them may have gotten a little discolored. For one, they were already like really wet from being outside. I had told you a lot of them had frozen. So I just go through and try to pull those out, and I'll put them into the meal or feed them to the worms, whichever one works. Tonight, they're probably going in the meal because I don't feel like dealing with it. Herd worms don't really care for like onion type things, but in my experience, they eat it slower, but they do eat it. So I would put this in the worm bins, me personally. So we got a few yellow ones in here. Wish I had, it looks like they probably came off the same plant. Wish I had noticed that yesterday when I was actually pulling them. And I didn't wash any of these. You can, but mine were growing in the green stalks. There, I didn't see anything on them. I'm okay not to wash them. That's just me personally, not telling anybody else not to wash theirs. So let's pull these out and get the cutting. By the way, I purchased some new knives. We love that for me. I needed them to get through this quickly and easily. You want to preserve the best just because it's going to be sitting somewhere for quite some time in most cases. That's the reason why you're preserving it. So that's why I am taking the time to go through and pull out anything that doesn't look amazing, because I'm about to put this in the refrigerator. Well, the freezer. It's gonna be in there for a while. I think we're probably good to go. And I'm not gonna do any kind of fancy cuts. I'm just gonna chop these and start to drop them into my silicone trays. Nothing fancy. I do like these new knives though. Cut real nice. I'm also cooking dinner right now, so I need to make sure I pay attention to that. And chives can also be dried in the dehydrator, or I think they can be hung. This is my first year growing them, and I have only preserved them this way, and I like them this way. I will use them if I'm cooking a steak. Like I'll just throw the block into the pan and then it will start to melt, and then you have a chive taste in your steak, and I like it. And I imagine like if you were doing roasted potatoes, that will work well for like roasted potatoes. And so those are our chives, and now we're gonna start dropping them into the oil, and you just want to make sure the oil kind of covers them. And I have a few of these little silicone trays. Gotta go check dinner, hold on. All right, I'm back. Now we're gonna fill it up to make sure we cover. And now this goes into the freezer where it will freeze overnight, and then I'll make sure I pop it out, and then I just put them in a freezer bag. So this is chives in butter. We have this in oil, what we just did. I do my rosemary the same way because I love fresh rosemary. I love rosemary in general. So I'm gonna sit here. Actually, a viewer sent me the thing to pull this off, like to make it easy. So I'm gonna go grab that. But that's what you're gonna end up with when you see, like, it's just a little puff of chives, and that's in butter. And then I just make sure I label it. But I did the same thing with my pesto. So if you see that, I did my pesto in those. I did rosemary and oil. That's what this one is. So it works out really well. I like it. And you just want to make sure you put it flat so that the oil doesn't come out of it. Whoa, I got oil everywhere. But now we're gonna let that freeze, and then tomorrow morning we'll come in, take them out, and put them in their appropriate bag. Yeah, I got oil everywhere. I'm gonna have to get that up. So a viewer sent me this, and this I'm supposed to be able to pull the herbs through it. Very interested to try it. So we are gonna do that tonight. Sure, there was an easier way to get this open. This is how I ended up not doing the video the last time, because I was just like late in the evening trying to get stuff preserved. But tonight I said, no, I'm showing it. I have said I'm gonna do it, so I'm gonna do it. And I didn't even think about this until right now. So let's see how it works, y'all. As I understand it, you slide it through. Guess I need to do the smaller one. And it's supposed to just kind of pull it off for you. I think I'm going the wrong way too. Let's try it. Or maybe I need a smaller one. And I wasn't going the wrong way. Hold on, y'all. Let's see. Oh yeah, you see that? So, need to, oh, very nice. Thank you to the person who sent me this. This is gonna save me a lot of time. So you just pull it back through. Oh, very nice. So I'm gonna do this with the rosemary, and then I'm gonna put rosemary in. Oh, it goes up too. And now I have my rosemary ready to go too. Nice. I don't know if anybody's ever seen this before. I'm sure somebody has. I am the one that was last to the party. Okay, we love this. Yeah, this is perfect. So I'm gonna sit and do this, and then we're gonna move on to the collards. And I also have some broccoli, but the same way I blanch the collards and freeze the collards, not in the little tins. The broccoli, I just lay them in a single row, let them freeze with no covering, and then overnight though. And then after that, I take it out and put it in a bag. That's what I do, but I don't have enough broccoli to preserve right now. We have been eating it fresh, but I did already get a gallon-sized bag of broccoli preserved, a gallon and a half of broccoli preserved. So I was happy with that so far. And we still have broccoli outside, so very happy with that. So let me do this and pay attention to my dinner. And then I'm gonna come back and we're gonna do the greens. All right, but we back, y'all. I done ate dinner. I done put the rosemary in the freezer. Oh, by the way, what I started doing is putting the thing on top of here. I don't know why I'm making such a mess. I'm kind of tired, but I made such a mess. So my other cutting board, by the way, a viewer sent me this too, thank you. But I've been putting it on here and then putting this in the freezer too. Makes me not make such a mess. Oh, by the way, in that same box that I just showed you where I got the thing out for the herbs, were these fancy little scissors. It's for cutting herbs. I didn't realize that's what they were. I just thought they were pair of scissors. Thank you to the person who sent me that. We are moving on to the collards, y'all, and I'm getting silly and sleepy. These collards were harvested on Wednesday. Yes, Wednesday. So they're a little floppy, but we're going to be putting them into some water to soak them. I personally use a knife. You can absolutely just pull them off. I don't keep the stem, but you absolutely can. I don't care for the stem. So I just go straight up the stem and I cut that out, and it can go to the chickens, or it can go to the worms, or it can go to the meal. And I'll put a link to the meal because I know people ask. So that's how I cut mine. I just cut them in strips. So we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna soak these, and then we're gonna blanch them, and we're gonna freeze them. And I am doing these mixed because I want to, honestly, because I want to be done. And you could just also cut them straight down like that. You do not have to roll them if you don't want to. The rolling part is kind of cool, but it is not necessary. And this is the only way I do my collards. I don't know if you can them or not. I'm honestly not sure. I've never done it. I'm not like really big on canning at the moment, but we are gonna get better at that. A viewer also sent me a whole pressure canner. I have used it. It was not a waste, but I want to use it more. I have something else coming that I am super excited about, y'all. Like, I'm very, very, very excited about it. And I can't wait to show y'all it. By the way, I went downstairs tonight. I was cleaning out the quail coops downstairs, or I don't want to say coops. They're more like brooders, but the quail are inside. Somebody did ask me if I still have quail. I do, but they're inside the house right now. When we were putting the greenhouse up, the Bootstrap Farmer greenhouse up, I had to move them, and it was just quicker for me to bring them back in the house, and they're just still here. What was I talking about? Oh, I went downstairs to do that, and I realized my mushrooms had bust out of the bags, and they were growing downstairs. So I definitely need to clean down there because I don't want no mushroom spores like growing down there. And the mushrooms that did grow, I threw them away. I just wasn't sure if I should eat them or not. Like, I thought that was wild. I should have, but I don't have space in the refrigerator. Put the bags in the refrigerator until I was ready for them. They're in the grow tent now. But I was like, oh my goodness, because I was gonna put them in the grow tent tonight. I've been clean the grow tent, just hadn't put them in there. And when I went to grab them, I was like, oh God, it was one bag. I got 4. It was one bag that had not started to fruit. I was like, that is wild. I didn't do nothing. I set them downstairs, and downstairs is normally dark. Downstairs is normally cool. I don't have the heat vent open down there. I was like, that is crazy. But anyway, they grew. But they're in the grow tent now, and the next time they fruit, I will be able to eat them and preserve them. I put them in the dehydrator most of the time, and then I save those in glass jars. And whenever I want some, I just rehydrate them with a little bit of water. Works out really well. I have oyster mushrooms. Oh, somebody asked me about, do I grow in hydroponics still? I do. I just don't know if I want to put them up this year. I'm feeling like I'll need a break. And if I do put them up, I'm going to put them up in January, because as I said in last week's video, I am doing Vlogmas over on my vlogging channel, Essentially Asia, and I'm vlogging and posting every day. And so that means some days it's 2 times a day, because I post over here too. I probably will put them up, but if I do, it'll be in January. It won't be this month. So let me get these cut up. We're gonna soak these in vinegar just so that we can make sure they're clean. You can also use salt. I've heard people say baking soda. I've never used baking soda, but we're gonna soak them, make sure they're clean. I'm gonna run them through the salad spinner just to get them a little bit dry after I blanch them. And then we are gonna put them in the same silicone containers and put those in the freezer as well. I like doing it in the silicone for these because I don't have to take out whole bags. So I think me and my kids, like 4 of those little silicone things, because I pack them really tightly, will feed us for a meal. And that way, all I have to do is grab 4 of those out there, thaw them out, and then I don't have to thaw a whole bag or cook a whole bag. But with collards, you could cook them first and then freeze them. And then all you got to do is warm them up. That's the option too. I just normally am trying to make sure they don't go bad. And my quickest option is to blanch them and to freeze them, because I don't actually like boiled collards. I will eat them, but I don't actually like them. I prefer my collards and my leafy greens. So my kales, my Swiss chard, I prefer them sauteed. They still have a little bit of a bite. That's the way I prefer mine. So drop in the comments how you preserve your food, any food. People, want to know. And we're all more than likely going to do something different, because we have different taste buds. We have different resources, those kind of things. Some people have deep freezers, some people don't. Some people have dehydrators, freeze dryers, so how do you preserve your food? Leafy greens and herbs are what we did today, but you could put anything down there that you want to share. So let me get all these cut up, y'all. And then I'm gonna come back to see you. Okay, so I'm still working on these, but I forgot. I already have some greens that are in the refrigerator that I need to preserve. So we got our water going, got us a nice chunk of ice. Yes, the bottom of my pan is burnt, but it is okay. So we are gonna put this ice in some water, because this is what's going to stop it from cooking once we put it into the hot water. So I just stored them in my cake pan and they're already washed, ready to go. And so we're just gonna drop them in here, bring them to a boil, maybe 1 to 2 minutes. Let it come to a boil, and I'm gonna put as much as I can in there. I'm gonna move it around so that all of it gets under the water. Blanching, as I understand it, helps to retain the color. I think it also does something for any bacteria that might be on the leaves as well. So I blanch mine. Have I ever put them in the freezer without blanching them? Absolutely I have. But I try to blanch them too. So I'm letting them come back up to a boil real quick. Shouldn't take long once you stop moving the water around. So we got our boil back, and now we're just gonna drop them into the cold water, which will make it stop cooking. Ice cold water, which will stop the cooking process. And I had a block of ice for whatever reason. And these are mixed greens as well. All right, and so now we just wanna make sure everything is cold. So I just like to move it around a little bit. And I normally don't have a big block of ice, but it's what I had tonight, so it's what we had to use. I don't see any steam or anything coming out of it now. And so now we are going to take it out of the cold water. This is just what I do, because I don't wanna have like ice crystals on them. And we're gonna put them into the salad spinner. Now, I said that the broccoli is the same way. I don't put my broccoli in the salad spinner. So now, just to try to get as much water as I possibly can out of it, I just spin it a few times. And you can see now that a good amount of water has separated from the greens, and that's all I was looking for. I'll take another one of these and start to drop our greens down in here. And I pack it pretty tightly. Just like that. Nothing fancy, like I said. And like I said, 4, maybe 5 of these will feed us. And then if like we're having company, which we rarely do, I could take out more, but I don't have to unthaw a whole bag. And that's those greens. So now this will go in the freezer, and I will show you what they look like when they come out, because we already have some in the freezer. Be right back. And so this is what you get once it's frozen. And like I said, enough for you, just one person, enough for 2 people, 3 people, however you want to cook it. I really like this. This is kale, but I do my kale and my collards the same way. And I figured I would show you the broccoli too. The reason why I lay it in one layer is because I don't want it sticking together. So this is broccoli from the garden. I did the same thing, put it in hot water, put it in cold water, and then I froze it. If you want to put it through the salad spinner, you can, because if you look, do have a few ice crystals on it. It's not going to completely alleviate it, but look at that. We got a whole gallon already and another half of a gallon downstairs. As they continue to come available and we're not eating them fresh, I will be doing this. We had broccoli tonight with dinner actually, so just wanted to show you that. But I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful. Hope that you learned something. I don't know, people were saying they wanted to see, so I figured I'd show it, although I said I don't do much, y'all. But I hope that you enjoyed it, and if you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to visit me over on Instagram, where I post about the things going on in my garden almost every day. Bye, y'all.